ChatGPT said. She walked onto the base like a ghost. No uniform, no fanfare, just those calm, unreadable eyes and a stride that said she belonged anywhere she chose. At the entrance to the command tent, a senior officer threw a smirk her way. "You're no soldier," he barked, loud enough for everyone nearby to catch the joke. Some of the guys laughed, sure. She didn't. Instead, she just reached in her jacket pocket and pulled out a single object, black as midnight, a coin with an emblem almost nobody in the world was supposed to recognize. When he saw it, the color drained from his face so fast you'd think he saw a ghost. That coin had a reputation all its own, and the kind of stories attached to it, they weren't the kind you shared over drinks, unless you wanted nightmares. That's how Thal Ravner made her entrance at FOB Sentinel, tucked away deep in the Hindu Kush. Picture this: a base humming with activity, uniformed troops going about their routines, and here's Thal in weathered cargo pants and a jacket faded from more years of sun and grit than anyone cared to count. Her hair was pulled back tight, scars peeking out on her cheekbones and jawline, stories written in skin for the observant. She moved through the camp like water. Everybody noticed, but nobody knew quite what to make of her. Most turned away, got back to business, but you could see the way she scanned every shadow, every rooftop, every perimeter. Old habits never die. The sun was barely up, and the mountains in the distance still wore their snow caps, like the world hadn't quite caught up to summer yet. Inside the command center, Colonel Prescott Hargrove was hunched over a map, going over tomorrow's operation with the kind of intensity you only get from too many years and too many funerals. "We move at 0500, he was saying. "The convoy takes the main valley route. Air support up top. No questions?" "Good." But there was a question. A specialist, still green, piped up, "Sir, there's a civilian on base. No records." Got through the gates somehow. That got Hargrove's attention. "How?" he demanded. "She says she'll only speak with you. Says it's about operational security. Now, if you know career officers, you know what I mean?" Hargrove came out flanked by his senior staff, his voice carrying, "You're trespassing on a restricted installation. Identify yourself." She just replied, "Cool as you like. I need to speak to you privately, Colonel, about Operation Obsidian Mirror." That stopped Hargrove cold. "There's no such operation," he fired back. "There will be," she said, "within 72 hours. And just like that, you could feel the mood shift, the air, the soldiers' faces, the ground itself felt different. He tried to shut her down, remove her from the base. 2 MPs moved forward. But then she said the village of Kazdari was evacuated last night. All civilians gone, elders executed. Your drones won't pick it up until later today. Hargrove froze. How did she know that? Same way she knew about a weapons cache in the Eastern Ridge tunnels. Same way she knew the convoy's route was already compromised. "Give me 10 minutes, Colonel." He hesitated, but something about her, or maybe it was the way the crowd had started gathering, made him agree. Now, in the command center, Lieutenant Sorrel Blackwood watched Thal closely. Blackwood had 3 years under Hargrove and had a sharp eye for people who didn't quite fit. Something about Thal, the way she moved, the way she looked at doors and shadows, not faces, told Blackwood she wasn't just another civilian. "Maybe we should check her intel before we throw her out," Blackwood offered. Hargrove agreed, and suddenly everyone was listening in. Thal explained, flat, direct, "There's a new cell in the region, Akshar Brigade. Former Special Forces, not in your files yet. They cleared Kazdui." Just then, a recon update arrived confirming Kazdui was deserted. Hargrove was rattled now. "Who are you?" he demanded. "I don't have an affiliation." "Not anymore," Thal said, and for the first time, her eyes softened just a bit. Hargrove pressed her, "Private contractor, intelligence, foreign government?" "No," she answered, "not anymore." That's when the tension snapped. "Detain her." Hargrove barked, but before anyone could react, Thal slowly reached into her jacket. Everybody stiffened and set down that black coin. An emblem, an owl with wings spread, surrounded by 7 stars. No unit or rank, just numbers on the edge. Hargrove waved off the MPs, voice suddenly quiet. "Everyone out, except Lieutenant Blackwood." Once alone, Hargrove turned the coin over in his hands, almost reverently. Where did you get this? Thal didn't answer, but she didn't have to. There were 8 of these coins, 7 operators, 1 handler. Most are gone. 1 was lost in Kandahar. You're Wraith. Blackwood blinked. Wraith? That's a ghost story, Colonel. No, Hargrove said. A solution for problems too ugly for official reports. No oversight, no records, no help if things went wrong. Thal's mask dropped just enough to show real pain. No support when things went wrong, she echoed. How many are left? Hargrove asked. Just me. Dresden was killed 3 months ago. That's why I'm here. Akshar Brigade killed him. They're using your operation as cover for something bigger. Sir, what exactly was Wraith? Blackwood asked, the words barely above a whisper. Hargrove explained, a special access program. After September 11th, we needed options. 7 operators, wiped from records, no rank, no uniform. Just missions nobody else could handle. Thal added, we were erased. No chain of command. When things went south, we were on our own. Hargrove leaned in, voice softer. I can't risk lives on your word alone. I'm not asking for blind faith, Thal said. Just check what I'm telling you. Blackwood ran surveillance. Thermal signatures where Thal said. Human presence. Carefully concealed. That doesn't prove intent, Hargrove protested, but you could see the gears turning. Why come forward now, he asked. Why not stay in the shadows? Because the Akshar Brigade has something bigger planned. Operational protocols, safe house locations, asset identities. They have a leak inside your base. Blackwood's checks confirmed. Major Ellis had made unauthorized database queries all week. Hargrove's face darkened. Ellis? He's been with us for years. People change, Thal said quietly. Or maybe you never really knew him. Night fell, and Thal, now in borrowed tactical gear, led Blackwood and a team into the mountains. The old rhythm came back to her, every step deliberate, every sense awake. At the first enemy position, she spotted camo netting that would have fooled any drone. Firing positions ready for a perfect crossfire on the convoy. Reeves, one of the team, moved up for visual confirmation. 6 hostiles, heavy weapons, anti-aircraft missiles, and they were listening in on the base's frequency bands. At the second site, more of the same. Professional operation, Blackwood said. Military precision. They pressed on, finding the command element's camp, SATCOMs, big gear, and a man Thal recognized. Veza, a leader in the Akshar Brigade. Before they could move, a vehicle arrived. A coalition uniform stepped out, too dark to ID, but after a careful tail, it was confirmed, Major Ellis. He stopped at a relay station, set a counter ambush. Dawn broke as they reported in. Hargrove, exhausted but alert, listened to Blackwood's summary. Are you certain it was Ellis? He asked. Thal confirmed, adding that the scale of Akshar's plan was bigger than just an ambush. They were preparing to hit the base itself, using the convoy as a distraction. Hargrove didn't waste time. We let Ellis think he's winning. Meanwhile, set up a trap. Blackwood assembled a trusted reaction force. All real operational planning shifted to a secondary, secure protocol. As the day wore on, the base became a stage for a deadly play. Maps updated, comms checked, Ellis moving through his duties oblivious to the fact his every step was watched. Thal watched from a distance. The subtle tells in his posture, the way his eyes darted, the false casualness when someone got too close to the truth. By night, the plan was in motion. The convoy would depart as scheduled, lightly manned and equipped, a decoy. The main force, led by Blackwood and Thal, would target Akshar's command element directly. Before heading out, Blackwood handed Thal an old patch, the owl from the coin, a symbol nobody outside their world would ever understand. He said you earned it, even if nobody will ever admit it. Thal tucked it away, a reminder of what she'd been and why she still fought. The team moved out, disappearing into the darkness. They had no guarantee of survival, no promise of medals or headlines. Just a mission. Protect the innocent, expose the traitors, and maybe, just maybe, walk back into the light for a moment. And as the first shots rang out in the cold mountain air, You had to wonder how many other stories like this have gone untold, how many heroes lived and died in the shadows so the rest of us could sleep a little easier. Please share and subscribe to Support Stories channel. If you watched all the way to the end, tell me, what would you have done in Colonel Hardrose's shoes? Is loyalty ever certain? Is justice ever simple? Let's hear your take below, because sometimes the hardest battles are the ones nobody ever sees.